Hello everyone, I'm the storyteller, weaving tales to pull you into the dark and ease you into sleep. Like, subscribe and drop a comment. Where are you chilling right now? Grab a blanket, let the rain's rhythm soothe you. Late night calls can hide more than pranks. They carry whispers that know your name. Shadows watch from places you can't see. Got a creepy call story? Share it below. Stay close. The night's alive and it's calling. The clock glowed 11:42 p.m. Its red digits a silent judge in my dim apartment, the only light besides the TV's flicker. I was sprawled on the couch, popcorn scattered across my lap, debating one more episode of my crime drama or bed. The city outside was hushed, rain tapping the windows like impatient fingers, the air heavy with a sour tang, not just damp, but metallic, like blood baked into the walls. I'm Sarah, a night owl who thrives on quiet. But that night, as I reached for the remote, a chill hit me, not from the draft, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Sarah, listen. My phone shrilled, slicing the silence, making me jump, kernels flying. Unknown number. I hesitated, thumb hovering, the TV's hum not just static but a chant, my name woven in, Sarah, C. Wrong number, I muttered, answering anyway. Hello? My voice sounded small, swallowed by the apartment's stillness. Silence, then a raspy breath, slow, deliberate, like someone savoring the air. Hello? Who is this? I snapped, irritation masking unease. The line went dead, the screen dark, but the whisper lingered, not from the phone, but the walls, chanting, Sarah. No. I tossed the phone onto the couch, shaking it off, but the metallic tang grew, mixed with rot, like something dead clung to the air. The TV flickered, a frame stuttering. My face, not the show, watching from the screen, gone in a blink. My pulse spiked, the whisper a hiss. Sarah, watch. I grabbed the remote, muting the TV, but the hum persisted, layered, ancient, vibrating in my chest. The phone rang again, same unknown number, its screen glowing green, not white, pulsing like a heartbeat. I let it go to voicemail, my hands trembling, the apartment too quiet, the rain too loud. A minute later, a notification buzzed. One new voicemail. I pressed play, holding the phone to my ear, the raspy breathing filling the line, then a whisper, clear, chilling, I can see you, Sarah. My spine iced, the words not just sound, but a weight pressing into me. I deleted it, blocked the number, my fingers clumsy, the whisper louder, not from the phone, but the air. Sarah, stay. I stood, heart hammering, and moved to the kitchen, needing tea, needing normal. But the kettle's hiss was a chant, the metallic rot stench choking, the walls etched with faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, glowing green, pulsing like veins. As I waited for the water to boil, I peeked through the window, scanning the street below. Empty, just parked cars, wet sidewalks, the rain's sheen glinting under streetlights. But the shadows moved, too sharp, too tall, their edges wrong, silver eyes glinting, gone when I blinked. The whisper laughed, a chorus, Sarah, open. I yanked the curtains shut, heart pounding, the apartment a trap, the TV's screen flickering, not off but alive, showing not my show, but my couch, my popcorn, my fear from an angle above, impossible, watching me. The phone buzzed. A text. Another unknown number. "Nice Star Wars pajamas, Sarah." I looked down at my faded pants, the Millennium Falcon barely visible, and my stomach dropped. How? I ran to every window, checking locks, pulling blinds, the metallic stench burning my nose, the cymbals flaring, the hum a roar, chanting, "Sarah, mine." I dialed 911, fingers trembling, voice shaking. "I'm getting calls, texts. Someone says they see me. I think I'm being watched." The dispatcher's voice was calm, clinical. "Are you in immediate danger?" "Do you see anyone?" "No, but they know what I'm wearing. They're texting me," I gasped, the TV flickering, showing my kitchen, my tea mug, my fear, from a corner no camera could be. "Ma'am, block the numbers, lock your doors, call if you see someone," the dispatcher said, unhelpful, distant. I hung up, frustrated, scared, the phone ringing again, another unknown number, the screen pulsing green, the whisper, a scream, "Sarah, answer." Against my better judgment, I picked up. "Stop calling me!" I shouted, trying to sound brave. A low chuckle, not human, layered, ancient. "We're just getting started, Sarah." My blood froze. They knew my name. "Who are you?" "What do you want?" I demanded, voice cracking. The voice purred. "Look out your window, Sarah. I have a surprise." The line died, the screen dark, the whisper a roar. "Sarah, look." Every instinct screamed no, but my feet moved, drawn to the living room window, hand shaking as I gripped the curtain. I pulled it back an inch, heart hammering, and saw nothing at first, just rain, cars, shadows. Then movement. A figure across the street, half hidden by a tree, head tilted, silver eyes glinting, not reflecting but burning, watching me. I let the curtain fall, stumbling back, the whisper laughing, the TV flaring, showing me at the window, my fear, my face from outside, impossible, alive. I ran to my bedroom, slamming the door, shoving the dresser against it, the wood scraping, my heart a drum in my throat. The metallic rot stench was everywhere, the cymbals glowing through the walls, pulsing like a heartbeat, the hum a scream. "Sarah, mine." I huddled on the bed, phone clutched tight, the rain's rhythm a chant, the whisper weaving through it. "Sarah, join." The phone buzzed. A new text. "I told you I could see you." I screamed, dropping it, the screen flaring green, the symbols crawling across it, spirals twisting like eyes, watching, waiting. I dialed 911 again, voice shaking. "There's someone outside my apartment. They're calling, texting. They're here, please." The dispatcher promised a patrol car. "Stay inside. Keep doors locked." I nodded, though she couldn't see, every sound a threat, the fridge's hum, the clock's tick, the rain's drum, all chanting my name. The bedroom window's curtains hung open, forgotten, the glass reflecting my pale face, the dark night beyond, stars faint, trees swaying, and then a face pressed against the glass, not human, eyes silver, mouth a spiral, grinning. I screamed, scrambling off the bed, tangling in blankets, hitting the floor hard, the face gone, the window empty, the whisper laughing. "Sarah. Closer." The phone rang, not from the bed, but the living room, impossible, incessant, the hum a roar, the cymbals blazing, the walls trembling, like the apartment was waking, hungry. A knock at the bedroom door, sharp, real, made me yelp. "Sarah, Officer Martinez, police. Are you okay?" Relief flooded me, voice hoarse. "Yes, I'm here." I shoved the dresser aside, hands shaking, unlocked the door. 2 officers in the hall, concerned, steady. "Are you hurt?" Martinez asked, flashlight sweeping the room. I shook my head, pointing to the window. Someone was there, right there, looking in. They checked, found nothing, no footprints, no marks. The fire escape secure, impossible for anyone to climb. "You sure you saw someone?" Officer Chen asked, skeptical. I nodded, frantic. "I'm sure, and the calls, texts, look." I grabbed my phone, but the messages, voicemails, gone, deleted. The screen dark, not green, normal. The officers exchanged glances. Martinez gentle. "Anyone who can stay with you?" I shook my head. "Family far, friends across town." "We'll patrol the area tonight," Chen said. "Call if anything happens." They left, the apartment silent, the rain softer, the cymbals dim, the hum faint, whispering, "Sarah, always." I checked every lock, every window, turned on every light, the TV off, its screen black, but I felt it, watching. I paced, jumping at every sound, the metallic stench lingering, the walls scarred with spirals, pulsing when I looked away. Dawn crept through the curtains, light weak, but I didn't relax, couldn't. The whisper, a chant. "Sarah, here." My phone buzzed. A text, no number, just words. "Good morning, Sarah. Did you miss me? Sweet dreams." Attached, a photo, me, asleep on the couch, popcorn scattered, taken from above, inside, impossible. I dropped the phone, heart hammering, the TV flickering on, no remote, no power, showing me now, pacing, terrified, from a corner no camera could be, the symbols flaring, the whisper laughing, "Sarah, ours." I ran to the TV, yanking the plug, but it stayed on, the screen warping, showing not me, but them. Figures, too tall, eyes silver, mouths spirals, chanting my name, their claws scratching the glass, not out, but in. I stumbled back, the apartment trembling, the symbols glowing, a spiral on my wrist, warm, pulsing, not there before, alive. The whisper roared, a chorus. Sarah joined. I grabbed my keys, ran, not looking back, the apartment a trap, the TV a window, not to my life but theirs, watching, always watching. I didn't call the cops, didn't tell anyone. Who'd believe me? I moved, new city, new life, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants. Sarah. Every night I check locks, keep lights on, but it's no use. The TV flickers, not plugged in, showing me, sleeping, walking, living, from angles impossible, their silver eyes glinting, their spirals pulsing. I see them in mirrors, in shadows, not one, but a legion, watching, waiting. Ravenswood's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those screens, those calls. I fear one night I'll wake to a buzz, a face in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed. Rainy roads cradle ghostly passengers. The rain came down like a curtain, slashing across my windshield, the wipers screaming to keep up as I navigated the twisting Blackwood Road. It was past midnight, the kind of hour where the world feels too still, too empty, the highway a ribbon of black slicing through nowhere. The air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just wet asphalt, but something metallic, like blood baked into the earth. I'm Jake, a guy who'd rather drive than sleep, but as I gripped the wheel, a chill hit me, not from the storm, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Jake, stop. My radio crackled, spitting static instead of the rock playlist I'd cued. The hum, not music, but a chant. My name woven in. Jake. See? I shook it off, blaming fatigue, the endless hours from my business trip wearing me down. The headlights caught a figure on the roadside, thumb outstretched, drenched, his silhouette hunched against the gale. My gut screamed to keep driving. Blackwood stories, whispers of vanishings, lights in the sky. But his slump, his desperation, tugged at me. I slowed, rolling down the passenger window, rain spitting in. "Where you headed?" I called, voice barely cutting the storm. "Next town over, if you're good for it," he said, jogging closer, hood shadowing his face, voice oddly calm, like the rain didn't touch him. "Hop in," I said, unlocking the door, ignoring the whisper. "Jake, don't." He slid in, bringing a musty smell. Wet clothes, yes, but something else, like earth turned wrong, rotting from within. "Thanks, mate," he said, pushing back his hood, revealing sharp features, mid-twenties, eyes glinting silver, not reflecting, but glowing, gone when I blinked. "I'm Matt." I nodded, pulling back onto the road, the metallic tang sharper, the radio's static a hiss. "Jake, watch." "I'm Jake," I offered, forcing a smile, hoping talk would steady my nerves. "Rough night to be out." Matt shrugged, his gaze fixed ahead. "Sometimes you gotta move, you know." His voice was smooth, too smooth, like the storm didn't faze him. The dashboard lights flickered, casting his face in green, not amber, his skin pale, almost translucent, a spiral etched on his hand, glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. I blinked, the mark gone, the whisper a chant. "Jake, no." My heart kicked up, the road blurring, the rain a roar, the car feeling smaller, tighter, like it was closing in. We drove in silence, the wiper's rhythm a chant, the static swelling, words forming. "Jake, stay." Matt's eyes darted to the rearview mirror, his fingers twitching, like he saw something I didn't. "You ever feel like you're not alone out here?" he asked, voice low, his breath cold, not fogging the glass. I forced a laugh. "Just you and me, man." But the mirror flickered, a shadow moving, too tall, too thin, silver eyes glinting, gone in a blink. The whisper laughed, a chorus. "Jake, look." The car's heater sputtered, the air icy, the metallic rot stench choking, the spiral mark back on Matt's hand, glowing, pulsing, alive. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white, the road endless, no signs, no turns, just Blackwood's black heart swallowing us. "What's in the next town?" I asked, voice shaking, needing normal. Matt turned, his eyes burning silver, not human. "Freedom," he said, his smile wrong, teeth too sharp, the spiral flaring, the radio screaming, "Jake, run." I glanced at him, heart hammering, and saw it, his shadow, not matching, stretching too long, claws glinting, the whisper a roar. "Jake, his." The car shuddered, the headlights dimming, the rain not water but something thicker, heavier, like it was feeding the road. "You okay, man?" I asked, voice cracking, the dashboard flickering, the spiral now etched on the passenger seat, glowing green, pulsing like a vein. Matt didn't answer, his gaze fixed on the mirror, his breath rasping, not panting, but chanting, my name in its teeth. I pushed the gas, needing distance, needing light, but the road fought me, curves tightening, the rain a wall, the whisper a scream. Jake, stop. I glanced at Matt, his face warping, skin rippling, eyes silver, mouth a spiral, not smiling but hungry, the spiral mark burning, the car trembling like it was waking, alive. I slammed the brakes, the car fishtailing, the rain roaring, the whisper deafening. Jake, gone. I turned to Matt, heart slamming, but the seat was empty, wet, muddy, the spiral mark glowing, pulsing, the musty rot stench thick, the radio silent, the hum a chant. Jake, always. My breath hitched, the mirror flickering, showing not me but him. Matt, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching from the back seat, gone when I spun around. The whisper laughed, the spiral flaring, the road a void, the storm a cage, and I knew Matt wasn't just gone, he was here, everywhere, waiting. I floored the gas, the car lurching, tires screaming on wet asphalt, the spiral mark burning on the seat, the metallic rot stench choking, the whisper a roar. Jake. Mine. My hands shook, the road endless, the rain a chant, the mirror flickering, silver eyes glinting, claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the glass, in the dark. The radio flared, no static, but a voice, Matt's, not human, layered, ancient. You shouldn't have stopped, Jake. I screamed, swerving, the car shuddering, the spiral glowing, the whisper laughing. Jake, join. The headlights caught a sign. Gas station, 1/2 mile. Hope surged, frail but real. The storm a beast, the road fighting, the spiral pulsing like a heartbeat, the rot stench thick, the visions flashing. Hooded figures, blood on asphalt. A fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling. My face among them, marked. I pushed harder, the car whining, the mirror warping, showing not the road, but a void. Matt's face, not his, but theirs, a legion, chanting my name, claws scraping the glass, not out, but in. The gas station's neon cut the dark, a lifeline in the storm, its lights flickering, the lot empty, the rain a roar, the whisper a scream. Jake, stay. I screeched to a stop, heart hammering, the spiral flaring, the seat wet, muddy, a fingerprint glowing green, not mine, not human. I ran, rain lashing, the station's bell jingling as I burst in. The clerk, an older man, scraggly beard, looking up from a magazine, eyes narrowing. Nasty night, he said, voice gruff, but his gaze flicked to my hands, my face, like he saw something I didn't. I picked up a hitchhiker, I gasped, words tumbling. On Blackwood Road, he vanished, in my car, moving, he's not human. The clerk's face paled, his hands trembling, dropping the magazine. Blackwood? He whispered, voice low. You picked him up there? I nodded, dread pooling, the whisper faint, chanting, Jake, here. The clerk sighed, rubbing his face. You ain't the first. 10 years ago, accident, young guy, hit by a truck, died instant. But he don't stay dead. Rainy nights, he's back, thumb out, eyes silver, not right. My knees buckled, the rot stench thick, the spiral on my hand, new, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. What is he? I choked, the clerk's eyes dark. Not just a ghost. Old stories, Blackwood's cursed, rituals, blood, things older than us, feeding on travelers, marking 'em. He pointed to my hand, the spiral burning, the whisper laughing. Jake, ours. I stumbled back, heart slamming, the neon flickering, the rain a chant, the clerk's voice distant. Get out. Don't stop. Don't look back. I ran to my car, the lot a void, the rain not water but something heavier, the spiral pulsing, the mirror showing not me but them, figures, silver eyes, claws glinting, watching. I drove, tires screeching, the road endless, the whisper a roar. Jake, always. The radio flared, Matt's voice, not his, chanting, You're marked, Jake, you're ours. I screamed, swerving, the spiral burning, the car shuddering, the headlights dimming, the rain a cage, the visions flashing, blood, asphalt, my name in screams, the silver eyes a legion, chanting. Dawn broke, pale light cutting the storm, the road opening, the whisper fading, the spiral dim but pulsing, the rot stench clinging. I stopped at a diner, hands shaking, coffee bitter, the spiral warm, alive, my reflection wrong, eyes glinting silver, gone when I blinked. I didn't call the cops, didn't tell anyone who'd believe me. I moved, new city, new life, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants, Jake. Every night I check mirrors, keep lights on, but it's no use. The radio crackles, no music, just his voice, not his, chanting my name, the spiral glowing, the rain a call. I see them, in mirrors, in shadows, not one but a legion, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching, waiting. Blackwood's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in the rain, the road. I fear one night I'll wake to a hum, a figure on the roadside, and they'll claim what they're owed. Empty towers echo ghostly pleas. Oakwood Tower stood like a monolith in the city's heart, its 12 floors of glass and steel cold under the midnight rain, the lobby's marble gleaming like a crypt. I was halfway through my night shift as security, the kind of job where silence is your only company, the hum of fluorescence a lullaby. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just damp but metallic, like blood baked into the walls. I'm Mike, a guy who likes the quiet, but as I leaned back at the desk, a chill hit me, not from the AC but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Mike. Answer. The phone on my desk shrilled, slicing the stillness, making me jump, my dog-eared paperback tumbling. Unknown number, the screen glowing green, not white, pulsing like a heartbeat. I hesitated, the monitors flickering, static, not just noise, but a chant, my name woven in, Mike, C. Oakwood Tower Security, I said, voice steady despite the unease, years of routine kicking in. Static, then a woman's voice, faint, trembling. Please, help me. I'm trapped. Inside. My heart kicked up, the metallic tang sharper, the whisper louder. Mike. Find. Where are you? What floor? I asked, grabbing my flashlight, the radio crackling. No response, just her plea. It's dark, cold. I hear water dripping. Please, hurry. The line died, the screen dark, but the whisper lingered, not from the phone but the walls chanting, Mike, no. I checked the monitors, the hallways empty, the lobby still, but the static flared, showing not my feed but a flicker, my desk, my face from above, Impossible. Gone in a blink. The tower's hum was a pulse, vibrating in my chest. The symbols, spirals, jagged lines, etched on the desk, glowing green, pulsing like veins. I started at the top, 12th floor, executive suites, glass walls reflecting my flashlight's beam, my footsteps echoing, too loud, too alone. The air grew colder, the rot stench thick, the symbols everywhere, on walls, floors, glowing, pulsing, guiding or trapping, I couldn't tell. The whisper hissed, "Mike, closer." I checked every office, every corner, nothing but shadows. But the monitors in the security room flickered, showing not the floor, but me, walking from behind, silver eyes glinting, gone when I spun around. The radio crackled, her voice, not static. "Hurry! They're coming!" 11th floor, 10th, 9th, empty, silent, the rot stench choking, the cymbals flaring, the hum a roar, chanting, "Mike, stay!" On the 8th floor, the air was damp, the carpet squelching, wet footprints leading from the elevator. Not mine, too small, too fresh. My pulse spiked, the whisper a scream. "Mike, run." I followed the prints, heart hammering, to a supply closet, the door ajar, the stench overwhelming, the symbols blazing, pulsing like a heartbeat. I pushed it open, flashlight trembling, revealing mops, buckets, nothing else. But the whisper laughed, a chorus. "Mike, here." Footsteps echoed behind, not mine, sharp, deliberate, click-clack, not the janitor's shuffle coming from the hallway. I whirled, flashlight slicing the dark. "Who's there?" I called, voice cracking, the whisper louder, not from the hall, but my radio, her voice. "They see you, Mike." The monitors flickered, showing not the closet but me, standing from above, silver eyes glinting, claws scraping, gone in a blink. I ran, the footsteps chasing, the hallways stretching, doors slamming shut, the cymbals flaring, the hum deafening, chanting, "Mike, join." I hit the stairwell, steps crumbling, the air colder, the rot stench thick, the whisper a roar. "Mike, closer." The 7th floor was a maze, offices identical, the monitors showing not the building, but a void. A woman, hair long, face a swirling black, not human, watching. I rounded a corner, heart slamming, and saw her, white dress, back to me, shoulders shaking, sobbing, the cymbals pulsing around her, the air trembling, like the tower was waking, hungry. "Mom," I whispered, flashlight shaking, "I'm here to help." She didn't move, the whisper her voice. "Mike, look." She turned, slow, deliberate, her face not there, a void, black, swirling, silver eyes burning, not eyes but holes, chanting my name. I stumbled back, a scream caught in my throat, the cymbals blazing, the hallway warping, the whisper, a scream. "Mike, mine." She glided, not walking, claws glinting, the void pulsing, the monitors showing her, not her, a legion, their faces voids, their eyes silver, watching, waiting. I ran, the hallway a blur, doors slamming, the cymbals guiding or trapping, the growl not from her, but the tower, ancient, alive. I sprinted, the stairwell a spiral, the steps crumbling, the growl roaring, the cymbals glowing, their green light a cage, the hum a scream. "Mike, stay!" My lungs burned, legs jelly, the void's claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the walls, in the air, the monitors flashing, showing me running, from angles impossible, silver eyes glinting, the whisper laughing. Mike. Hours. The tower tightened, hallways looping, the air colder, the rot stench choking, the visions flashing, hooded figures, blood on marble, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. I burst onto the 6th floor, the offices dark, the symbols everywhere, pulsing like veins, the growl inches away, the void's claws grazing my back, not cutting, but teasing, savouring. I dove into a conference room, heart hammering, the door slamming shut, the whisper a roar. Mike, join. The monitors flared, showing not the room, but her, not her, a legion. Their voids pulsing, their claws scraping, chanting my name. I fumbled my radio. Control, this is Mike, intruder, back up, now. Static, then her voice, not control. You can't leave, Mike, we're bound. The door trembled, claws scraping, the symbols blazing, the room shrinking, the air heavy, the rot stench thick, the growl vibrating, the void's face in the glass, not out but in, watching. I ran, the hallway a maze, the monitors showing me, not me, my face warping, eyes silver, gone when I blinked. The stairwell loomed, the growl closer, the void's claws glinting, the whisper a scream. Mike, closer. I took the steps 2 at a time, the tower shaking, the symbols pulsing, the visions flashing, blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their voids alive, hungry. The ground floor was dark, the lobby's marble a mirror, reflecting not me but them, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, the whisper a roar. Mike, mine. I sprinted for the front doors, keys shaking, the growl inches away, the void's hand cold, gripping my shoulder, not flesh but shadow, not holding but claiming. I yanked the door open, stumbling into the street, rain lashing, the city alive, the tower silent, the growl fading, the symbols dim, the whisper faint. Mike. Always. I ran, blocks blurring, not stopping until dawn's light cut the dark, the rain a chant, the city a shield, frail but real. The cops came, checked the tower, found nothing. No footprints, no woman, the monitors blank, the symbols gone, the rot stench faded. You sure you saw someone? They asked, skeptical, their flashlights sweeping the lobby, clean, normal. I nodded, voice hoarse. She was there. Her face. Nothing. They exchanged glances. Stress, maybe. Get some rest. I quit that day, didn't tell them about the spiral on my hand, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. I moved, new job, new city, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants. Mike. Every night I check mirrors, keep lights on, but it's no use. The phone rings, no number, just static. Her voice, not her, chanting my name, the spiral glowing, the monitors in my dreams showing not my life but theirs, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing. I see them, in shadows, in glass, not one but a legion, watching, waiting. Oakwood's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those halls, those calls. I fear one night I'll wake to a ring, a face in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed. Lonely cabins whisper ancient curses. The cabin crouched in Vermont's wilderness, its weathered logs sinking into the forest's grip, pines looming like silent watchers under a starless sky. I'd rented it for a month, chasing solitude to finish my novel, the city's noise a memory I wanted to bury. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just moss, but something metallic, like blood baked into the earth. I'm Alex, a writer who thrives on quiet, but as I unpacked my laptop, a chill hit me, not from the damp, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Alex, stay. The first week was a dream. Crisp air, endless trails, words flowing like the stream nearby. But the cabin felt wrong, its creaks too deliberate. The lo suoi's hum, not fire but a chant. My name woven in. Alex. C. The walls were scarred, faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, etched deep, glowing faintly green, pulsing like veins, unnoticed until night. The metallic tang grew, mixed with rot, like something dead lingered beneath the floorboards. The whisper hissed, "Alex, no." I shook it off, blaming isolation. But my gut screamed. The forest wasn't just vast, it was alive, watching. By the second night, the quiet turned menacing. The stream's babble a chant, the pines leaning closer, their shadows too sharp, too tall. I lay in bed, eyes wide, the darkness pressing in, when it started. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling the cabin, not animal, but human, heavy, measured. My heart kicked up, the rot stench thick, the symbols flaring, their green light pulsing like a heartbeat. "Just the wind," I muttered, but the steps paused, a soft scraping against the walls, the whisper, a chorus. "Alex, come." I grabbed my flashlight, hands trembling, the beam catching the window. Nothing, just rain. But the glass reflected not me, but a shadow, silver eyes glinting, gone when I blinked. Dawn broke, and I checked outside, the ground untouched, no footprints. But the porch was scarred, spirals, fresh, glowing green, pulsing, the whisper laughing, "Alex, soon." I called Earl, the gruff owner, voice shaking. "Anyone else got a key?" He grunted. "Just you and me." "Why?" I told him about the steps, the scratches, his paws too long. "Probably animals. Stay inside." His voice was tight, like he knew more, the whisper a hiss. "Alex, find." I spent the day writing, but the words warped, sentences twisting into spirals, the laptop's screen flickering, showing not my manuscript, but me, sleeping from above, impossible, alive. Night fell, the cabin trembling, the rot stench choking, the cymbals blazing, the hum a roar, chanting, "Alex, open." I checked the locks, the windows, but the footsteps returned, louder, circling, the scraping insistent, the whisper, a scream. "Alex, look." I crept to the window, heart hammering, and saw him. A figure, tall, gaunt, clothes tattered, swaying at the forest's edge, silver eyes burning, not reflecting but glowing. His hand raised, waving, not friendly but deliberate, the cymbals flaring, the cabin shaking like it was waking, hungry. I stumbled back, the whisper laughing, the lo soi flaring, not fire but a void, chanting my name. I ran to the bedroom, locking the door, the footsteps closer, the scraping on the roof, the symbols pulsing through the walls, the rot stench thick, the visions flashing. Hooded figures, blood on wood, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. The phone rang, no number, the screen glowing green, the whisper her voice, not human. "You shouldn't have come, Alex." I dropped it, the screen flaring, showing not my room but the forest. Him, not him. A legion, their eyes silver, claws glinting, watching, waiting. The door trembled, claws scraping, the symbols blazing, the room shrinking, the whisper a roar. Alex. Home. I grabbed a knife from my bag, heart slamming, the window my only shot, but the glass reflected not me but them, silver eyes burning, mouths spirals chanting. I smashed it, glass cutting my hands, the rain lashing, the forest a blur, the growl not from him but the cabin, ancient, alive. I ran, the porch scarred. Welcome home. Etched fresh, glowing, pulsing, the whisper a scream. Alex, run. I sprinted, branches whipping my face, roots snagging my boots, the rain a chant, the symbols glowing on the pines, their green light pulsing, guiding or trapping, I couldn't tell. My lungs burned, legs jelly, the growl roaring, the figure's claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the trees, in the air, the visions flashing, blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their eyes silver, mouths voids, hungry. The cabin shrank behind, but the hum followed, the rot stench thick, the spiral on my hand, new, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. The forest tightened, paths vanishing, the symbols everywhere, on rocks, roots, the air, their spirals twisting like eyes, the growl inches away, claws grazing my back, not cutting but teasing, savouring. I dove behind a boulder, heart hammering, the figure's steps pausing, his growl a chant, not searching, but waiting, silver eyes glinting through the pines, not rushing, but herding, the whisper a roar. Alex, join. The rain was heavier, not water, but something thicker, the symbols flaring, the forest trembling, like it was feeding, claiming. I moved, limping, the spiral burning, the rot stench choking, the visions relentless, blood, fire, my face marked, the legion's claws glinting, chanting my name. A road glimmered, gravel glinting under moonlight, and I sprinted, legs screaming, the growl fading, the eyes lingering, watching from the dark. My car was there, keys shaking, the engine roaring as I floored it, tires spinning, the cabin a smear in the rear view, but the hum followed, the spiral pulsing, the whisper clear. Alex, always. I drove through the night, rain lashing, the spiral burning, the radio crackling, no music, just his voice, not his, chanting, "You're ours, Alex." I screamed, swerving, the mirror showing not the road but them, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching. Dawn broke, pale light cutting the storm, the road opening, the whisper fading, the spiral dim but pulsing, the rot stench clinging. I stopped at a diner, hands shaking, coffee bitter, my reflection wrong, eyes glinting silver, gone when I blinked. I called Earl, voice hoarse. "What's in that cabin?" He sighed, heavy. "Old murders, 3 hikers, man vanished. Folks say he's still there, not dead, not alive, marking folks. I hung up, the spiral warm, alive, my hand not mine, pulsing. I didn't call the cops, didn't tell anyone who'd believe me. I moved, new city, new life, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants, Alex. Every night I check windows, keep lights on, but it's no use. The mirror flickers, not me, him, not him. A legion, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching. The rain brings his voice, not his, chanting my name. The spiral glowing, the forest shadow clinging. Vermont's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those logs, those pines. I fear one night I'll wake to a creak, a figure in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed. Stormy roads hide cursed relics. The highway cut through the night like a scar, rain hammering my windshield, the wipers struggling as I pushed through the storm's fury. It was past midnight, the world drowned in black, the road a lonely thread between nowhere and nothing. The air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just wet asphalt, but something metallic, like blood baked into the earth. I'm Mark, a guy who'd drive through hell to get home. But as I gripped the wheel, a chill hit me. Not from the rain, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Mark. Stop. My radio crackled, spitting static instead of the blues I'd tuned. The hum, not music, but a chant, my name woven in. Mark. C. I shook it off, blaming the long hours from visiting family, the storm's roar messing with my head. The headlights caught a figure on the roadside, thumb outstretched, drenched, his silhouette slumped, beaten by the gale. My gut screamed to keep going. Tales of vanishings, lights in the sky, but his defeat, his need, pulled me. I slowed, rolling down the passenger window, rain stinging my face. "Where you headed?" I called, voice lost in the storm's howl. "Next town over, if you're game," he said, jogging closer, hood shadowing his face, voice calm, too calm, like the rain didn't touch him. "Hop in," I said, unlocking the door, ignoring the whisper. "Mark, don't." He slid in, bringing a burnt metal smell, not just wet clothes, but something wrong, like earth scorched from within. "Thanks, man," he said, pushing back his hood, revealing sharp features, mid-30s, eyes glinting silver, not reflecting, but glowing, gone when I blinked. "I'm John." I nodded, pulling back onto the road, the metallic tang sharper, the radio's static a hiss. "Mark, watch." "I'm Mark," I offered, forcing a grin, hoping talk would ease the knot in my gut. "Hell of a night to be out." John shrugged, his gaze fixed ahead. "Gotta keep moving, you know." His voice was smooth, like the storm was nothing, his fingers twitching, a spiral etched on his hand, glowing faintly green, pulsing like a heartbeat. I blinked, the mark gone, the whisper a chant. Mark. No. My heart raced, the road blurring, the rain a roar, the car feeling smaller, like it was caging me in. We drove in silence, the wiper's rhythm a chant, the static swelling, words forming. Mark. Stay. John's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, his breath cold, not fogging the glass, like he wasn't breathing at all. "Ever feel something's watching out here?" he asked, voice low, his shadow stretching too long, claws glinting, gone when I looked. The whisper laughed. A chorus. Mark. Look. The dashboard flickered, the spiral now carved on the passenger seat, glowing green, pulsing, the burnt metal stench choking, the car trembling like it was waking, alive. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white, the road endless, no signs, just the storm's black heart swallowing us. "What's in the next town?" I asked, voice shaking, needing normal. John turned, his eyes burning silver, not human. "Escape," he said, his smile wrong, teeth too sharp, the spiral flaring, the radio screaming, "Mark! Run!" I glanced at him, heart hammering, and saw it. His face rippling, skin translucent, eyes voids, the spiral glowing, the car shuddering, the rain not water, but something heavier feeding the road. "You good, man?" I choked, the dashboard flickering, the spiral pulsing, the seat wet, muddy, a fingerprint glowing green, not mine, not human. John didn't answer, his gaze locked on the mirror, his breath rasping, not panting, but chanting, my name in its teeth. "Take the next exit," he snapped, pulling a knife, its blade etched with spirals, glowing, the whisper a roar. Mark. His. I froze, heart slamming, the knife's tip at my ribs, the road curving, the rain a wall, the spiral burning, the visions flashing. Hooded figures, blood on asphalt, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them marked. I turned onto a dirt road, mud sucking at the tires, the knife steady, John's eyes silver, not eyes but holes, chanting, "Keep driving, Mark. Don't fuck this up." The trailer loomed, rusted, abandoned, its windows dark, the spiral carved on its door, glowing, pulsing, the whisper a scream. "Mark. Take." John shoved me inside, the air thick with rot, the floor scarred with spirals, the knife glinting, his voice shaking. "They're coming. They want it back." I stumbled, heart hammering, the trailer a trap, the whisper laughing. "Mark. Hold." The trailer's walls closed in, the rot stench choking, the spirals glowing, their green light pulsing, the hum a roar. "Mark. Keep." John paced, knife twitching, his face warping, skin rippling, eyes silver, not human, the spiral on his hand burning, the visions flashing, blood, spirals, my name in screams, a legion chanting, their claws glinting, hungry. "Who's coming?" I gasped, voice shaking, the knife at my throat, the trailer trembling, like it was waking, alive. John's eyes locked on the door. "Them! They never stop." He reached into his pocket, pulling a small metal cube, no bigger than a die, its surface swirling with patterns, not etched but moving, glowing green, pulsing like a heart. "Take it," he hissed, shoving it into my hand, the cube heavy, warm, alive, the whisper a scream. "Mark. Yours." I froze, the cube's patterns twisting, showing not shapes but eyes, silver, watching, the trailer shaking, the spirals flaring, the rot stench thick, the growl not from John, but the walls, ancient, hungry. Tires crunched outside, headlights piercing the dark, the growl roaring, the cube burning, the whisper chanting, "Mark. Run." John's eyes widened. "They're here!" he screamed, bolting for the back, a flash of green light swallowing him. Not escape, but vanishing, the knife clattering, the cube pulsing, the trailer a void. I dove for the rear window, heart hammering, the glass scarred with spirals, glowing, the visions flashing, blood, fire, my face marked, the Legion's eyes burning, chanting. I smashed it, shards cutting my hands, tumbling into the mud, the rain lashing, the growl chasing, claws scraping, not behind, but beside, in the dark. I ran, forest a blur, branches slashing, the cube heavy in my pocket, the spiral on my hand, new, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. The headlights followed, a black SUV, not stopping but hunting, its engine a chant, the whisper a roar. Mark. Theirs. I dove behind a rock, heart slamming, the SUV slowing, doors slamming, voices shouting, not human, layered, ancient, their shadows too tall, too thin, silver eyes glinting, claws scraping, the cube burning, the spiral pulsing, the forest trembling, like it was feeding, claiming. I moved, limping, the spiral burning, the rot stench thick, the visions relentless. Blood, asphalt, my name in screams, the Legion's claws glinting, chanting. A road glimmered, asphalt glinting under moonlight, and I sprinted, legs screaming, the growl fading, the eyes lingering, watching from the dark. My car was there, keys shaking, the engine roaring as I floored it, tires screeching, the SUV a smear in the rear view. But the hum followed, the cube pulsing, the whisper clear. Mark. Always. I drove through the night, rain lashing, the spiral burning, the radio crackling, no music, just their voice, not John's, chanting, "You're marked, Mark, you're ours." I screamed, swerving, the mirror showing not the road, but them, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching. Dawn broke, pale light cutting the storm, the road opening, the whisper fading, the spiral dim but pulsing, the rot stench clinging. I stopped at a diner, hands shaking, coffee bitter, my reflection wrong, eyes glinting silver, gone when I blinked. I didn't call the cops, didn't tell anyone who'd believe me. I hid the cube, buried it deep, but the spiral burns, the whisper chants, Mark. I moved, new city, new life, but the hum follows, the cube's weight in my dreams, the spiral glowing, the road's shadow clinging. Every night I check mirrors, keep lights on, but it's no use. The radio crackles, their voice, not John's, chanting my name, the spiral pulsing, the SUV's headlights glinting in my nightmares. The highway's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in the rain, the dark. I fear one night I'll wake to a hum, a figure on the roadside, and they'll claim what they're owed. Silent halls harbour voiceless terrors. The office tower loomed over the city, its glass facade a dark mirror under the midnight rain, 12 floors of empty desks and flickering lights stretching into silence. I was midway through my night shift as security, the kind of gig where boredom is your only friend, the hum of the AC a constant drone. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just stale coffee, but something metallic like blood baked into the concrete. I'm Mike, a guy who likes the quiet, but as I leaned back at the desk, a chill hit me. Not from the cold, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Mike. Listen. The phone on my desk shrilled, cutting the stillness, making me jump, my coffee mug rattling. Unknown number, the screen glowing green, not white, pulsing like a heartbeat. I hesitated. The monitors flickering. Static, not just noise, but a chant. My name woven in. Mike. See? Security. This is Mike, I said. Voice steady, despite the knot in my gut. Years of routine holding me together. Static crackled. Then a woman's voice, faint, trembling. Please, help me. I'm trapped somewhere inside. My pulse spiked, the metallic tang sharper, the whisper louder. Mike, find. Where are you? What floor? I asked, grabbing my flashlight, the radio spitting static. No response, just her plea. It's dark, cold, water's dripping. Please, hurry. The line went dead, the screen dark, but the whisper lingered, not from the phone but the walls, chanting, Mike, no. I checked the monitors, hallways empty, the lobby still, but the static flared, showing not my feed but a flicker, my desk, my face from above, impossible, gone in a blink. The tower's hum was a pulse, vibrating in my chest, the walls etched with faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, glowing green, pulsing like veins. I started at the top, 12th floor, executive suites, glass walls reflecting my beam, my footsteps echoing, too loud, too alone. The air grew colder, the burnt metal stench thick, the symbols everywhere, on doors, floors, glowing, pulsing, guiding or trapping, I couldn't tell. The whisper hissed, Mike, closer. I swept every office, every corner, nothing but shadows, but the monitors in the control room flickered, showing not the floor but me, walking from behind, silver eyes glinting, gone when I spun. The radio crackled, her voice not static. They're coming, Mike. Hurry. 11th floor, 10th, 9th, empty, silent, the stench choking, the cymbals flaring, the hum a roar, chanting, Mike, stay. On the 8th floor, the air was damp, the carpet squelching, wet footprints leading from the elevator, not mine, too small, too fresh, trailing water, glowing faintly green. My heart raced, the whisper, a scream, Mike, run. I followed the prints, flashlight shaking, to a supply closet, the door ajar, the stench overwhelming, the cymbals blazing, pulsing like a heartbeat. I pushed it open, revealing mops, buckets, nothing else, but the whisper laughed, a chorus, Mike, here. Footsteps echoed behind, not mine, sharp, click-clack, not the janitor's shuffle coming from the hallway. I whirled, beam slicing the dark. Who's there? I called, voice cracking, the whisper louder, not from the hall, but my radio, her voice. They see you, Mike. The monitors flickered, showing not the closet, but me, standing from above, silver eyes glinting, claws scraping, gone in a blink. I ran, the footsteps chasing, the hallway stretching, doors slamming shut, the cymbals flaring, the hum deafening, chanting, Mike, join. I hit the stairwell, steps crumbling, the air colder, the stench thick, the whisper a roar. Mike, closer. The 7th floor was a labyrinth, offices identical, the monitors showing not the building, but a void, a woman, hair long, face a swirling black, not human, watching. I rounded a corner, heart slamming, and saw her. White dress, back to me, shoulders shaking, sobbing, the cymbals pulsing around her, the air trembling like the tower was waking, hungry. Mom? I whispered, flashlight shaking. "I'm here to help." She didn't move. The whisper her voice. "Mike, look." She turned, slow, deliberate, her face not there, a void, black, swirling, silver eyes burning, not eyes but holes, chanting my name. I stumbled back, a scream caught in my throat, the cymbals blazing, the hallway warping, the whisper, a scream. "Mike, mine." She glided, not walking, claws glinting, the void pulsing, the monitors showing her, not her, a legion, their faces voids, their eyes silver, watching, waiting. I ran, the hallway a blur, doors slamming, the symbols guiding or trapping, the growl not from her, but the tower, ancient, alive. I sprinted, the stairwell a spiral, the steps crumbling, the growl roaring, the symbols glowing, their green light a cage, the hum a scream. "Mike, stay." My lungs burned, legs jelly, the void's claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the walls, in the air, the monitors flashing, showing me running from angles impossible, silver eyes glinting, the whisper laughing. "Mike, ours." The tower tightened, hallways looping, the air colder, the stench choking, the visions flashing, hooded figures, blood on concrete, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. I burst onto the 6th floor, the offices dark, the symbols everywhere, pulsing like veins, the growl inches away, the void's claws grazing my back, not cutting, but teasing, savouring. I dove into a break room, heart hammering, the door slamming shut, the whisper a roar. "Mike, join." The monitors flared, showing not the room, but her, not her, a legion, their voids pulsing, their claws scraping, chanting my name. I fumbled my radio. "Control, this is Mike. Intruder, back up, now." Static, then her voice. Not control. "You can't leave, Mike. We're bound." The door trembled, claws scraping, the symbols blazing, the room shrinking, the air heavy, the stench thick, the void's face in the glass, not out, but in, watching. I ran, the hallway a maze, the monitors showing me, not me, my face warping, eyes silver, gone when I blinked. The stairwell loomed, the growl closer, the void's claws glinting, the whisper, a scream. "Mike, closer." I took the steps, 2 at a time, the tower shaking, the symbols pulsing, the visions flashing. Blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their voids alive, hungry. The ground floor was dark, the lobby's marble a mirror, reflecting not me but them, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, the whisper a roar. "Mike, mine." I sprinted for the exit, keys shaking, the growl inches away, the void's hand cold, gripping my shoulder, not flesh but shadow, not holding but claiming. I yanked the door open, stumbling into the street, rain lashing, the city alive, the tower silent, the growl fading, the symbols dim, the whisper faint. "Mike, always." I ran, blocks blurring, not stopping until dawn's light cut the dark, the rain a chant, the city a shield, frail but real. The cops came, checked the tower, found nothing. No footprints, no woman, the monitors blank, the symbols gone, the stench faded. "You sure you saw someone?" they asked, skeptical, their flashlights sweeping the lobby, clean, normal. I nodded, voice hoarse. She was there. Her face. Nothing. They exchanged glances. Stress, maybe. Get some rest. I quit that day, didn't tell them about the spiral on my hand, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. I moved, new job, new city, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants. Mike. Every night I check mirrors, keep lights on, but it's no use. The phone rings, no number, just static. Her voice, not her, chanting my name, the spiral glowing, the monitors in my dreams showing not my life but theirs, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing. I see them, in shadows, in glass, not one but a legion, watching, waiting. The tower's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those halls, those calls. I fear one night I'll wake to a ring, a face in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed. Quiet parks conceal relentless pursuers. Oakwood Park stretched dark and silent under the night sky, its playgrounds and paths cloaked in shadow, the streetlights casting frail pools of light. I laced up my running shoes, earbuds pulsing with a steady beat, craving the release of a late-night jog to shed the day's stress. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just damp grass, but something metallic, like blood baked into the earth. I'm Riley, a runner who thrives on solitude, but as I hit the trail, a chill hit me, not from the breeze, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering through the dark. Riley, follow. The park was my refuge, a familiar loop of gravel and trees, but tonight it felt wrong, the silence too deep, the shadows too sharp. My earbuds hummed, not music, but static, a chant weaving through, Riley, see. I shook it off, blaming a low battery, the stress of work clouding my head. The trail curved, the pines leaning closer, their bark etched with faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, glowing faintly green, pulsing like veins, unseen until now. The metallic tang grew, mixed with rot, like something dead lingered beneath the roots. The whisper hissed, Riley, no. I pushed my pace, breath steady, the gravel crunching under my sneakers, but a second rhythm joined mine. Footsteps, not mine, matching my stride, soft but deliberate, always just behind. My heart kicked up, the whisper louder, not from the earbuds but the wind. Riley. Run. I glanced over my shoulder, expecting another runner, but the path was empty, the shadows twisting, silver eyes glinting, gone when I blinked. The static flared, words forming, Riley, closer. I yanked the earbuds out, but the chant persisted, layered, ancient, vibrating in my chest, the cymbals flaring, the park trembling like it was waking, alive. I slowed, testing, the footsteps slowing too, always in sync, never closer, never farther, a hunter pacing its prey. My skin prickled, the rot stench thick, the trail narrowing, the pines closing in, their branches clawing, the cymbals pulsing, guiding or trapping. I couldn't tell. I stopped. Heart hammering, the footsteps stopping, the silence heavier, the whisper a chorus. Riley. Look! I spun, flashlight app on, beam slicing the dark, catching nothing but trees, but the ground was scarred, spirals, fresh, glowing green, pulsing, the whisper laughing. Riley. Here. Movement flickered in my peripheral, a shadow, too tall, too thin, darting behind a tree. Silver eyes burning, not reflecting but glowing. I froze, the whisper a scream. Riley, stay. The trail's puddle reflected not me, but him, not human. Face a void, claws glinting, gone when I blinked. My phone buzzed, no signal, the screen glowing green, not white, showing not my lock screen, but the trail, me, running, from above, impossible, alive. The whisper roared, a legion. Riley, join. I ran, gravel flying, the footsteps chasing, matching my pace, the cymbals flaring, the park a maze, the rot stench choking, the visions flashing, hooded figures, blood on earth, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. The trail looped, the footsteps closer, the growl not from the ground but the air, layered, ancient, chanting my name. I veered off, branches slashing, the pines warping, their trunks scarred with spirals, glowing, pulsing, the whisper a scream. Riley, mine. I tripped, sprawling over a root, pain exploding in my knees, the flashlight dropping, its beam catching him. Tall, gaunt, no face, just a void, silver eyes burning, claws glinting, gliding, not walking, the cymbals blazing, the park trembling like it was feeding, hungry. I scrambled up, the growl inches away, the void's claws grazing my back, not cutting but teasing, savouring. I dove into a thicket, thorns cutting, heart hammering, the footsteps pausing, the void's growl a chant, not searching but waiting, silver eyes glinting through the leaves, the whisper a roar. Riley, closer. The park tightened, paths vanishing, the symbols everywhere, on bark, stones, the air, their spirals twisting like eyes, the rot stench thick, the growl vibrating, the visions relentless. Blood, fire, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their voids alive, hungry. I held my breath, muscles locked, the void's shadow looming, claws scraping, the park a trap, feeding on my fear. I crawled from the thicket, legs trembling, the growl fading, the green light dimming, the cymbals pulsing faintly, the park quiet, too quiet, like it had fed and was sated for now. My knees bled, the rot stench clinging, the spiral on my hand, new, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. The trail was gone, the pines watching, their symbols glowing, guiding or trapping, I couldn't tell. The growl lingered, claws scraping, the silver eyes circling, not attacking but stalking, ancient, alive. The park warped, the air heavier, the whisper faint but persistent. Riley, stay. I stumbled forward, the ground uneven, more symbols, carved in stone, glowing, pulsing, the visions flashing. Blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion's claws glinting, chanting. A shot cracked, not a gun, but earth splitting, the ground trembling, the cymbals flaring, the growl inches away, claws grazing my back, not cutting but teasing, savouring. I dove behind a bench, heart slamming, the silver eyes glinting through the trees, not rushing, but waiting, their whisper a roar. Riley, join. I grabbed a rock, hurling it, the thud echoing, the void's growl faltering, the distraction buying time. I ran, the park a blur, the symbols everywhere, their green light a cage, the rot stench choking, the growl vibrating, the visions relentless. Blood, fire, my face marked, the Legion's eyes burning, chanting. The main road glimmered, asphalt glinting under streetlights, and I sprinted, legs burning, the growl fading, the eyes lingering, watching from the dark. Headlights pierced the night, a car slowing, a couple's concerned faces peering out. "You okay?" I collapsed, gasping. "Someone's after me." They drove me to a diner, my story spilling, footsteps, shadow, void. But their eyes said I was crazy, the hum faint, whispering, "Riley, always." Cops came, checked the park, found nothing. No footprints, no figure, the symbols gone, the stench faded. "Stress, maybe," they said, skeptical. "Get some rest." I nodded, didn't tell them about the spiral on my hand, warm, pulsing, glowing green, alive. I stopped running, moved to a new city, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants. Riley. Every night I check windows, keep lights on, but it's no use. The mirror flickers, not me, him, not him, a legion, silver eyes burning, claws scraping, watching. The park's shadow clings, its whispers in my dreams, the spiral glowing, the trail's rhythm echoing. Oakwood's still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those trees, those paths. I fear one night I'll wake to a crunch, a figure in the dark, and they'll claim what they're. Secluded cabins cradle eyeless watchers. The cabin nestled deep in the forest, its sagging logs swallowed by pines, the moonlight barely piercing the canopy's choke. I'd rented it for a week, desperate for a break from the city's grind, craving silence to reset my frayed nerves. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just damp wood, but something metallic, like blood baked into the earth. I'm Casey, a loner who finds peace in quiet. But as I dropped my bag by the door, a chill hit me. Not from the cold, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Casey. Rest. The first day was perfect. Hiking trails, crisp air, the crackle of the low suoi soothing my soul. But the cabin felt off, its creaks too rhythmic, the low suoi's hum not fire but a chant, my name woven in, Casey, C. The walls were scarred, faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, etched deep, glowing faintly green, pulsing like veins, unnoticed until dusk. The metallic tang grew, mixed with a burnt earth stench, like something dead lingered beneath the floor. The whisper hissed, "Casey, no." I brushed it off, blaming exhaustion, but my gut screamed. The forest wasn't just still, it was watching. By the second night, the silence turned predatory, the stream outside a chant, the pines pressing closer, their shadows too tall, too thin. I lay in bed, eyes wide, the darkness heavy, when it began, footsteps, deliberate, circling the cabin, not animal, but human, slow, scraping against the walls. My heart raced, the burnt earth stench thick, the symbols flaring, their green light pulsing like a heartbeat. "Just the wind," I muttered. But the steps stopped. A sharp tap on the window, the whisper a chorus. "Casey. Open." I grabbed my flashlight, hands trembling, the beam catching the glass. Nothing, just rain. But the window reflected not me, but a shadow, silver eyes glinting, gone when I blinked. Morning came, and I checked outside, the ground untouched, no footprints. But the porch was scarred, spirals, fresh, glowing green, pulsing, the whisper laughing. Casey. Soon. I called the owner, a gruff voice named Amos, voice shaking. "Anyone been here?" He paused, too long. "Just you. Stay inside at night." His tone was tight, like he knew more, the whisper a hiss. Casey. Find. I spent the day reading, but the pages warped, words twisting into spirals, the lamp flickering, casting not my shadow, but another, taller, thinner, claws glinting, gone when I turned. Night fell, the cabin trembling, the stench choking, the cymbals blazing, the hum a roar, chanting, "Casey, come." I checked the locks, the windows, but the footsteps returned, heavier, circling, the tapping insistent, the whisper a scream. "Casey, look!" I crept to the window, heart hammering, and saw it. A figure, tall, gaunt, tattered rags hanging, swaying at the forest's edge. No face, just a void. Silver eyes burning, not eyes but holes, its hand raised, beckoning, the cymbals flaring, the cabin shaking, like it was waking, hungry. I stumbled back, the whisper laughing, the low sui flaring, not fire, but a void, chanting my name. I bolted to the bedroom, locking the door, the footsteps closer, the scraping on the roof, the cymbals pulsing through the walls, the stench thick, the visions flashing, hooded figures, blood on roots, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. The phone rang, no number, the screen glowing green, the whisper its voice, not human, "You shouldn't be here, Casey." I dropped it, the screen flaring, showing not my room, but the forest. It, not it, a legion, their voids pulsing, claws glinting, watching, waiting. The door rattled, claws scraping, the cymbals blazing, the room shrinking, the whisper a roar. Casey, home. I grabbed a knife from my bag, heart slamming, the window my only shot. But the glass reflected not me but them, silver eyes burning, mouths spirals, chanting. I smashed it, glass cutting my hands, the rain lashing, the forest a blur, the growl not from it, but the cabin, ancient, alive. I ran, the porch scarred. Welcome home, etched fresh, glowing, pulsing, the whisper, a scream. Casey. Run. I sprinted, branches slashing my face, roots snagging my boots, the rain a chant, the cymbals glowing on the pines, their green light pulsing, guiding or trapping. I couldn't tell. My lungs burned, legs trembling, the growl roaring, the figure's claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the trees, in the air, the visions flashing. Blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their voids alive, hungry. The cabin faded, but the hum followed, the burnt earth stench thick, the spiral on my hand, new, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. The forest tightened, paths vanishing, the symbols everywhere. On bark, stones, The air, their spirals twisting like eyes. The growl inches away, claws grazing my back, not cutting, but teasing, savouring. I dove behind a fallen log, heart hammering. The figure's steps pausing, its growl a chant, not searching, but waiting. Silver eyes glinting through the pines, not rushing but herding, the whisper a roar. Casey, join! The rain was heavier, not water, but something thicker, the cymbals flaring, the forest trembling, like it was feeding, claiming. I moved, crawling, the spiral burning, the stench choking, the visions relentless, blood, fire, my face marked, the legion's claws glinting, chanting. A road glimmered, gravel glinting under moonlight, and I sprinted, legs screaming, the growl fading, the eyes lingering, watching from the dark. My car was there, keys shaking, the engine roaring as I floored it, tires spinning, the forest a blur in the rear view, but the hum followed, the spiral pulsing, the whisper clear. Casey, always. I drove through the night, rain lashing, the spiral burning, the radio crackling, no music, just their voice, not the figures, chanting, "You're ours, Casey." I screamed, swerving, the mirror showing not the road, but them, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing, watching. Dawn broke, pale light cutting the storm, the road opening, the whisper fading, the spiral dim but pulsing, the stench clinging. I stopped at a gas station, hands shaking, coffee bitter, my reflection wrong, eyes glinting silver, gone when I blinked. I called Amos, voice hoarse. "What's in that cabin?" He sighed, heavy. "Old stories, sacrifices, things that don't die, marking folks who stay too long." I hung up, the spiral warm, alive, my hand not mine, pulsing. I didn't call the cops, didn't tell anyone. Who'd believe me? I moved, new city, new life, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants, Casey. Every night I check windows, keep lights on, but it's no use. The mirror flickers, not me, them, not one but a legion, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing, watching. The forest's shadow clings, its whispers in my dreams, the spiral glowing, the cabin's creak echoing. That place is still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those logs, those pines. I fear one night I'll wake to a tap, a void in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed. Silent labs unveil cosmic thresholds. The computer lab hummed in the dead of night, its rows of monitors casting a cold glow across the university's basement. The air sterile yet heavy, tinged with a sour tang. Not just old coffee, but something metallic, like blood baked into the circuits. I was pulling an all-nighter, my thesis due in 2 days. The clack of keys my only company. I'm Michael, a grad student who thrives on deadlines, but as I typed, a chill hit me, not from the AC, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Michael, seek. The fluorescent lights buzzed, not steady but pulsing, the monitors flickering, static, not just noise, but a chant, my name woven in. Michael, see. I shook it off, blaming caffeine and sleep deprivation. The hours blurring my senses. The desks were scarred, faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, etched deep, glowing faintly green, pulsing like veins, unnoticed until now. The metallic tang grew, mixed with a burnt circuit stench, like something dead lingered in the wiring. The whisper hissed, "Michael, no." I rubbed my eyes, but my screen flickered, showing not my code, but me, typing from above. Impossible. Gone in a blink. I stood, stretching, the lab too quiet, the hum too loud, vibrating in my chest, the symbols flaring, guiding or trapping, I couldn't tell. A faint sound broke the stillness. Footsteps, not mine, sharp, click-clack, echoing from the hallway, not the janitor's shuffle. My heart kicked up, the whisper louder, not from my headset, but the speakers. "Michael, come." I grabbed my flashlight, hands trembling, the beam catching the door, ajar, the hallway beyond dark, the symbols pulsing on the walls, the stench thick, the whisper a chorus. "Michael, closer." I stepped into the hall, the air colder, the burnt circuit stench choking, the footsteps retreating, leading me deeper. The monitors in the lab flared, showing not the room but the hallway. Me, walking from behind, silver eyes glinting, gone when I turned. The whisper roared, "A legion. Michael, find." I checked the stairwell, the lecture halls, nothing but shadows, but the hallway stretched, doors multiplying, the symbols blazing, the hum a scream, chanting, "Michael, stay." My phone buzzed, no signal, the screen glowing green, showing not my lock screen, but the lab, me, standing. From a corner, no camera could be. The footsteps returned, closer, the hallway warping, the walls rippling, the symbols pulsing like a heartbeat. I ran, the click-clack chasing, the doors slamming shut, the whisper a scream. "Michael, run!" I burst into a storage room, heart hammering, the air damp, the floor scarred with wet footprints. Not mine, glowing green, trailing to a locked cabinet, the stench overwhelming, the symbols blazing. I yanked it open, revealing cables, dust, nothing else, but the whisper laughed, a chorus. "Michael, here." A shadow flickered behind, too tall, too thin, not human, silver eyes burning, not reflecting but glowing. I spun, flashlight shaking. "Who's there?" I shouted, voice cracking, the whisper louder, not from the room, but my phone, a voice, not human. "You're so close, Michael." The monitors flared, showing not the room but me. Standing from above, the shadow looming, claws glinting, gone in a blink. I ran, the hallway a maze, the footsteps chasing, the symbols flaring, the hum deafening, chanting, "Michael, join." The stairwell loomed, steps crumbling, the air colder, the stench thick, the whisper a roar. "Michael, closer." The fifth floor was a labyrinth, labs identical, the monitors showing not the building, but a void, a figure, not human, shifting, tall, spindly, then squat, rippling, its face a swirling mass, silver eyes burning, mouths forming, vanishing, watching. I rounded a corner, heart slamming, and saw it, shifting, fluid, no fixed form, standing in the hallway, the symbols pulsing around it, the air trembling, like the lab was waking, hungry. "What are you?" I gasped, flashlight shaking, the whisper its voice. "Michael, look." It moved, not walking but flowing, its forms cycling, limbs too many, then none, Eyes silver, then voids, claws glinting, the monitors showing it, not it, a legion, their faces shifting, their eyes burning, chanting my name. I stumbled back. A scream caught in my throat, the symbols blazing, the hallway warping, the whisper a scream. Michael. Mine. It reached, not touching, but pulling. The void pulsing, the lab trembling, like it was feeding, alive. I sprinted, the hallway a spiral, the walls melting, the symbols glowing, their green light a cage, the hum a scream. Michael, stay. My lungs burned, legs jelly, the entity's claws scraping, not behind but beside, in the walls, in the air, the monitors flashing, showing me running, from angles impossible, silver eyes glinting, the whisper laughing. Michael. Ours. The lab tightened, corridors looping, the air colder, the stench choking, the visions flashing, cosmic vistas, blood on stars, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. I burst into a lecture hall, the desks dark, the symbols everywhere, pulsing like veins, the growl inches away, the entity's forms shifting, gliding, not chasing but herding, savouring. I dove behind a podium, heart hammering, the monitors flaring, showing not the room but it, not it, a legion, their forms rippling, claws scraping, chanting my name. I fumbled my phone. Security! Anyone! Help! I gasped, but static answered, its voice not human. You can't leave, Michael. You're bound. The door trembled, claws scraping, the symbols blazing, the room shrinking, the air heavy, the stench thick, the entity's form in the glass, not out, but in, watching. I ran, the hallway a maze, the monitors showing me, not me, my face warping, eyes silver, gone when I blinked. The stairwell loomed, the growl closer, the entity's claws glinting, the whisper a scream. Michael, closer. I took the steps two at a time, the lab shaking, the symbols pulsing, the visions flashing, blood, spirals, my name in screams, the legion chanting, their voids alive, hungry. The ground floor was dark, the lobby's tiles a mirror, reflecting not me but them, silver eyes burning, forms shifting, the whisper a roar. Michael, mine. I sprinted for the exit, hands shaking, the growl inches away, the entity's touch cold, not flesh but shadow, not holding but claiming. I yanked the door open, stumbling into the street, rain lashing, the campus alive, the lab silent, the growl fading, the symbols dim, the whisper faint. Michael, always. I ran, buildings blurring, not stopping until dawn's light cut the dark, the rain a chant, the city a shield, frail but real. The faculty found my thesis unfinished, the lab untouched, no footprints, no entity, the monitors blank, the symbols gone, the stench faded. Burnout, they said. He probably left town. I didn't leave a note, didn't tell them about the spiral on my hand, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. I didn't go home, didn't call anyone who'd believe me. I wandered, new city, new name, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants. Michael. Every night I check screens, keep lights on, but it's no use. The monitor flickers, not my reflection, them, not one but a legion, silver eyes burning, forms shifting, watching. The lab's shadow clings, its whispers in my dreams, the spiral glowing, the hallway's hum echoing. That place is still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those circuits, those screens. I fear one night I'll wake to a hum, a form in the glass, and they'll pull me back to the void I chose. Snowy nights summon unearthly children. The Thompson house stood alone in the blizzard's grip, its windows rattling under the storm's howl, snow piling against the walls like a shroud. I was babysitting their kids, Lily and Max, an easy gig to pad my college fund, the kind of night where pizza and board games ruled. But the air was heavy, tinged with a sour tang, not just wet wool, but something metallic, like blood baked into the floorboards. I'm Sarah, a student who loves kids, but as I tucked them in, a chill hit me. Not from the cold, but a whisper, low and guttural, slithering from the dark. Sarah, watch. The evening started fine. Pizza devoured, games won, bedtime stories told. But the storm hit hard, the wind screaming, the lights flickering, the house groaning like it was alive. The TV hummed, not the cartoon channel, but static, a chant weaving through, Sarah, see. I shook it off, blaming the weather, but the walls were scarred, faint scratches, spirals, jagged lines, etched deep, glowing faintly green, pulsing like veins, unnoticed until now. The metallic tang grew, mixed with a burnt earth stench, like something dead lingered beneath the house. The whisper hissed, Sarah? No. The power cut out at 9, plunging us into darkness. The storm's roar deafening, the house a cave. I grabbed my flashlight, checking on the kids, but their rooms were empty, beds tossed, blankets trailing. My heart raced, the whisper louder, not from the storm, but the walls. Sarah, find. Lily, Max, I called, voice shaking, the flashlight's beam catching the hallway, the floor scarred with wet footprints, not mine, too small, glowing green, trailing downstairs. The stench thickened, the cymbals flaring, the house trembling, like it was waking, hungry. I followed the prints, the air colder, the whisper a chorus. Sarah, come. The living room was dark, the footprints leading to the basement door ajar, the stench overwhelming, the cymbals pulsing like a heartbeat. My phone buzzed, no signal, the screen glowing green, showing not my lock screen, but the hallway, me, standing from above, impossible, alive. The whisper roared, a legion, Sarah, closer. I pushed the door open, the stairs creaking, the darkness below swallowing my beam, the burnt earth stench choking, the whisper chanting, Sarah, here. The basement was a maze of boxes and pipes, the footprints glowing, leading to a corner where Lily and Max stood, but wrong. Skin pale, almost translucent, eyes too large, too dark, staring, unblinking, their pajamas soaked, dripping green. My breath hitched, the whisper, their voices, not theirs, in unison. We went for a swim, Sarah. Join us. Their smiles were too wide, teeth sharp, the cymbals flaring, the basement trembling like it was feeding, alive. What's wrong with you? I gasped, voice cracking, the flashlight shaking, their eyes glinting silver, not reflecting but glowing, the whisper a scream. Sarah. Stay. They stepped forward, hands reaching, claws glinting, the stench thick, the visions flashing, hooded figures, blood on snow, a fire that didn't burn right, silver eyes circling, my face among them, marked. I backed away, heart hammering, the basement warping, the walls rippling, the cymbals pulsing, a shadow looming behind them. Tall, thin, no face, just a void, silver eyes burning, not eyes but holes, its limbs too long, swaying, the whisper its voice. Sarah, join. I ran, the stairs crumbling, the growl not from them, but the house, ancient, hungry. The door slammed shut, claws scraping, the cymbals blazing, the basement shrinking, the whisper a roar. Sarah, mine. I grabbed a crowbar from a shelf, heart slamming. The window my only shot, but the glass reflected not me but them, silver eyes burning, mouths spirals chanting. I smashed it, glass cutting my hands, the snow lashing, the basement a void, the growl chasing, claws scraping, not behind, but beside, in the dark. I climbed through, tumbling into the snow, the whisper a scream. Sarah, run. I scrambled up, snow biting my skin, the growl roaring, the cymbals glowing on the house's walls, their green light pulsing, the hum a scream. Sarah, ours. My hands bled, legs trembling, the blizzard a chant, the children's voices, not theirs, echoing. Come play, Sarah, the water's cold. Their eyes glinted silver, not from the window, but the snow, not two, but many. A legion, chanting my name, claws scraping, the spiral on my hand. New, warm, pulsing, glowing green, not there before, alive. The backyard was a maze, snow blinding, the house looming, the symbols everywhere, on trees, fences, the air, their spirals twisting like eyes, the growl inches away, claws grazing my back, not cutting, but teasing, savouring. I dove behind a shed, heart hammering, the children's giggles closer, their voices a chorus, not human, layered, ancient, the whisper a roar. Sarah, join. The snow was heavier, not flakes, but something thicker, the cymbals flaring, the storm trembling like it was feeding, claiming. I moved, crawling, the spiral burning, the stench choking, the visions relentless, blood, snow, my name in screams, the legion's claws glinting, chanting. A gate glimmered, iron glinting under moonlight, and I sprinted, legs screaming, the growl fading, the eyes lingering, watching from the dark. The street was there, my car buried in snow, keys shaking, the engine sputtering as I floored it, tires spinning, the house a blur in the rear view, but the hum followed, the spiral pulsing, the whisper clear. Sarah, always. I drove to the police station, snow lashing, the spiral burning, the radio crackling, no music, just their voices, not the kids chanting. You're ours, Sarah. I screamed, swerving, the mirror showing not the road, but them, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing, watching. Dawn broke, pale light cutting the storm, the road opening, the whisper fading, the spiral dim but pulsing, the stench clinging. I stumbled into the station, my story spilling, kids, shadow, void, but the cop's eyes said I was crazy, the hum faint, whispering, Sarah, here. They checked the house, found Lily and Max asleep, no footprints, no symbols, the basement clean, the stench gone. You left them alone? The Thompsons raged, firing me, my reputation trashed. I didn't tell them about the spiral on my hand, warm, pulsing, glowing green, alive. I moved, New city, new life, but the hum follows, the spiral burns, the whisper chants, Sarah. Every night I check windows, keep lights on, but it's no use. The mirror flickers. Not me, them, not two, but a legion, silver eyes burning, voids pulsing, watching. The storm's shadow clings, its giggles in my dreams, the spiral glowing, the basement's hum echoing. That house is still out there, quiet, hungry, its secrets buried in those walls, that snow. I fear one night I'll wake to a giggle, a void in the glass, and they'll claim what they're owed.